Welcome to the GetRealWealth.com radio show, where wealth means a lot more than just building a second stream of income with real estate. Listen and learn how 90% of the millionaires in the world use real estate to create a life that most people only dream about. A life that includes good health, family, romance, travel, charity, and all the other parts of a balanced life. Now, here's your host, real estate investor and consultant, Steve Davis.
Good afternoon and welcome to the GetRealWealth.com radio show. I'm your host, Steve Davis, where as always we're talking about leading a better life, more time for family, more time for fitness, more time for joy, happiness. By building a second stream of income, our focus is of course on real estate, but this works with any business. And remember the definition of a business. If you can disappear for a year from your quote-unquote business and make the same amount of money as if you were there, that's a business. If you leave and you make less money, you're self-employed. Nothing wrong with being self-employed. You just have to make that distinction, especially when listening to this show. When I talk about a business, I talk about something you're not involved with. It's you own a business, like Warren Buffett. He doesn't go to work at any of the businesses that he owns. And be very cautious. Some of you think he buys stocks. He doesn't. Read his book. He buys companies. Businesses. And today what I want to talk about is the lack of information on the 401 trust. We talk about it quite a bit about it's a situation. The 401 trust is used. Let's say you work at Exxon and you have a couple $100,000 in a 401 and into your spouse's hand, and then use that money to buy real estate. Nobody knows about this. If you go look it up, Google it, it won't take you long to realize there's 3 articles on the 401 trust and 167 million articles on the 401k. And the question is why? Why isn't this information out there for everyone? Why doesn't everyone know that they can get their 401k out of their company without tax or penalty? And everyone feels like they're stuck with the 401k in their company. The reason is simple. Your financial planners don't want to lose control of that 401k. See, they want to control you. So they keep this information to themselves. And it's not even that sinister where the way I just said it, it sounds like, what would this be called? A conspiracy theory or something like that. It's not. It's just not the way the system works. The system is designed for you to need a financial planner and for them to control your 401k or your IRA. And you can't do anything. That's the way it's designed. How do you know this? Do they get paid a commission if you get control of your 401k or IRA and go buy real estate? You know the answer, don't you? They don't. Why would they promote it? Why would they want that information shared? They don't want it shared. That's why it's so hard to get this information. It took me 5 hours of Googling and going to different websites, and after 5 hours I still didn't know what I needed to know. Let's assume that it's going to take you twice that long to actually figure it out. So you could go out and invest 10 hours on the internet studying, looking this stuff up, trying to figure out the 401 trust. What's the problem? Even after 10 hours of reading, how confident are you that you know how to use one? If you're wise, you're going, I'm not going to be confident at all. I still need a CPA. Exactly. You still need a CPA. Why are people joining Real Wealth Academy? Because we have a CPA who is a specialist in 401 trusts. And in 30 minutes, not 10 hours, you would know how to use one. And because it came from a CPA who can actually help you do it, do you have to worry about it? Did I get any misinformation? Did I not read enough? Should I have spent 20 hours studying? You don't have that fear because this guy's done it multiple times. So what this leads to is all of the information that I share with you and others on the radio share with you about investing in real estate and building wealth. We figured out a way to get paid to do it. But here's the difference. The rates of return that we're getting are 10 times. The deal I saw today, we did a deal spotlight, filmed a gentleman named Tanga from Dallas, Fort Worth. His rates of return were 25 times higher than what the average person is getting in their IRA and 401k. 25 times higher. See, it is your responsibility to go out and get this information, because your financial planner is not going to give it to you. Unless your CPA is highly motivated, highly educated, they're not going to know it. See why people come and pay me $500 to take my one-day class? It's crazy not to. In 8 hours, I can show you what would take you 5 or 10 years to learn on your own. And sorry for the sales pitch for my program. Doesn't have to be my program. There's other games out there, other companies out there, great companies. I would like you to give our company a chance, but if you don't like me, I don't care. Go find somebody you do like and take their course and get this information, get this knowledge in your brain so you can share it with your children so they don't suffer with the same fears and insecurities about money that you and I did when we first, moved out of the house. We'll talk more after the break here on the GetRealWealth.com radio show. I'm your host, Steve Davis. You can call me at 281-558-KSEV. You're listening to AM 700, the voice of Texas. Thanks for listening. Are you tired of losing money in every down market? Did you know that real estate makes money in both the up and down markets? In fact, we make more money in the down market. Hi, this is Steve Davis, host of the GetRealWealth.com radio show. Yes, we are praying for a down market, and you should know why. To find out why, attend our free 2-hour introductory workshop. To reserve a seat, visit GetRealWealth.com and click on the free workshop button at the top of the page. That's GetRealWealth.com. Thank you. Welcome back to the GetRealWealth.com radio show. I'm your host, Steve Davis. Phone lines are open. Feel free to join in anytime, even though I'm ranting about my furiousness, if you will, with the system of withholding education from the average person. And that's exactly what's going on. Phone lines are open at 281-558-5738, 281-558-KSEV, or email me your question at asksteve@getrealwealth.com. asksteve@getrealwealth.com. And remember, that email is open 24/7. anytime you think of a question, or maybe right now you've got a question, but you're not in a place to email me, go home, sit down. Robert Kiyosaki brings up this point that his poor dad, who was a highly educated PhD government worker, explained to him that high school and college, they do not teach you about money. They teach you nothing. I didn't even get taught how to balance a check. Politicians don't want them to teach that. The politicians dictate what's taught. Remember when we used to learn the Constitution? Imagine that thought. Imagine if every person understood the Constitution. Would we have all this crap going on that we have right now? It'd be greatly diminished. You know, let's talk about the anti-gun people and their misunderstanding of the Second Amendment. If they understood the Second Amendment, they would have murdered millions. There's no question. They did it in China. Why were they able to do it in China? No Second Amendment. They raped those cities. They destroyed those cities. They murdered, raped, pillaged. They would have done the same thing in California, except that Yamamoto said, we will not invade the United States, because if we do, there will be a gun behind every blade of grass. That's the only reason their Navy didn't come to our shores. They weren't scared of us. They weren't scared of our military, I should have said. They weren't scared of the U.S. military. They were scared of you and me. Because we had the rifles, we had the pistols, and if they'd have landed on our shores, they'd have gotten lit up. Imagine if every child understood that, and that the only reason we're not invaded now is the same reason. You don't want to come in here and land on the shores of Texas where guys can shoot a deer running at 25 miles per hour from 100 yards away. It ain't happening. The same thing with the freedom of speech, freedom of and freedom from religion. It's if they don't want us to know. And I'm going to hammer the Democrats because I just have the feeling it's them. I don't think the Republicans are going, yeah, let's not teach the Constitution. I can't see a Republican saying that, but I can sure see a Democrat saying that. So they're in control of what we learn. And what do they want? They want cogs in the machine. They want dumb little employees that get up and go to work for 40 years, save in a 401k, an IRA, and retire broke. As awful as that scenario sounds, that's what they want. And if you don't believe me, think for a moment. Isn't that the path you were taught? To work real hard in high school, get into college, get out and get the highest paying job you can get. Don't worry about being happy. It's all about the pay, the money. In fact, if you live in Houston and your family's in Houston and all your friends are in Houston, but you can get a job making $20,000 more in Arizona, you need to take action and go to Arizona. What? You're going to leave your family, leave all your friends to make an extra 20 grand and you're going to move all the way to Arizona? How many of you did that? Insane. Money money. People misunderstand money because they don't go out and educate themselves by taking courses, reading books, listening to CDs. They don't understand money. So what Robert Kiyosaki's poor dad said was, you need to go ask Mike's dad about money. He's an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs have to know about money. Employees don't, because we're a dependent. We depend on the government. We depend on a corporation. We're little dependent babies that never made it out of dependency into independency. So why learn about money? You're not going to do anything with it. But those of you that do want more out of life, that truly want to be top dogs, you've got to learn about money. You've got to learn the way the rich think. And I'm not talking about multi-billionaires. I'm talking about rich, a couple $1,000,000 or $20,000 a month in income, passive income. That's rich. Riches stink. These multi-billionaires, they've done so much, they've lost touch with the average person. You've got to learn this stuff, or you are damning yourself to suffer, live paycheck to paycheck, and retire broke. In fact, the whole premise of the IRA and the 401k, as it's used by the average person, is that this is what I'm about to say is rude, but I'm saying it rudely to get the point across. Here's what you're saying. Man, I'm an idiot with money. I'm not very good with money. I better put my money in something I can't get to. And the government has said it's tax-free. Well, it's not tax-free, it's tax-deferred. It's deferred until you're 59 and a half. Then you start taking it. I'm not sure at what age you're required to start taking it, but most people start pulling it at 59 and a half when the penalty stops. The stupid tax. That's what the penalty is. It's the stupid tax for being stupid enough to put your money in an IRA or 401k. So you put your money in the IRA, you put your money in the 401k because you are specifically planning on failing financially. That's the only way that an IRA or 401k saves you taxes, is if you fail financially and retire with low income. How many of you have the goal of retiring with low income? That's your goal. That's your plan. That's your business model. Yeah, honey, I've set it up. Sweetheart, come here. I got a great idea. We're going to goof up and we're going to retire with no income. Then I can take the money out of the IRA and the 401k and be in a low tax bracket. Isn't that great, sweetheart? When I say it like that, it's nuts, isn't it? You're not planning on failing, are you? Then why is your money in a 401k? Why is it in an IRA? When the only way they save you money is if you fail financially. And you lost control of that money for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. It's crazy. No. Your goal is what? To retire with high income. Which means when you pull the money out of the IRA after 59 and a half, you're still in a high tax bracket. It saved you nothing. And again, you lost control of it for 40 years. It is insane what the average person is being taught about money. And the funny thing is, I don't even think these financial planners are malicious. Most of them. Most of them are just dumb as you are. dumb as I was. They don't know any better because they were taught by somebody that was broke, who was taught by somebody that was broke, who was taught by somebody that was broke. I mean, think about it. The average financial planner in the U.S. makes $65,000 a year, and you go to them and ask them how to retire. They can't do it themselves. They certainly can't do it for you. Okay, this is the GetRealWealth.com radio show. I'm your host, Steve Davis. If you've got a question for me, give me a call. 281-558-5738. That's 281-558-KSED. You're listening to AM 700, the voice of Texas. Thanks for listening. Real estate accounts for more millionaires in America than any other investment vehicle. This second stream of income can truly change your life. More time for travel and romance, more time for family and fitness, more time for whatever you want to do with your life. To find out how to build this second stream of income, attend our free 2-hour introductory workshop on real estate investing. To reserve a seat, visit GetRealWealth.com and click on the free workshop button at the top of the page. That's GetRealWealth.com. Thank you. Welcome back to the GetRealWealth.com radio show. I'm your host, Steve Davis. We're talking about it's not really a lack of education. They teach you all kinds of things. But I want you to think about this. I went to, I guess I can say it, Texas A&M for a year and a half, 2 years. Failed out. You know what the first course I took was? Chemistry 101. And I remember going, I have no inkling of an interest in this. It has nothing to do with my career path. It has nothing to do with my goals. Yet I'm forced to take all of these odd courses. It didn't take me long to figure out why. Money. They don't do it to make you a better, well-rounded person. It's money. That's why I think it was Bill Gates. It could have been Steve Jobs. One of them said, yeah, I like college. Go to college, only take the courses you need, and get out. You don't need a degree. I remember when I read that going, lunatics. What are you talking about? Go to college. What did I suddenly realize about myself? I had been brainwashed. I thought a degree actually meant something. And here I am listening to a billionaire questioning his opinion. A billionaire. Yeah, I'm not sure if you're right, sir. Well, I made $1 billion with this concept. It's at least effective. Okay. And I woke up. I literally went to my counselor and I said, this was right after the first year, at the end of the summer after my first year when I was heading into my second year. And I said, yeah, where are the classes on getting rich? He grinned and laughed. There are no classes on getting rich. I go, well, why am I paying all this money if you're not going to educate me? I don't need chemistry. I don't need biology. I don't need the history of South American tribes that, who knows what it was. All this garbage they forced me to take, it was just to make money for them. See, you could literally cut an attorney's, if it takes 8 years to be an attorney, I tell you what, I bet it's really only 4. I consulted with someone with $300,000+ of student loans. I don't care if they are positioning you for a position as a god. It's not worth $300,000. What's the average doctor make upon graduation? Does anybody know that? 60 to 80 grand a year. They paid, because this was an incomplete education, by the way, they pay $400,000. They go into $400,000 worth of debt to make 80 grand a year. I made that as a health club instructor, a personal trainer. The system is completely ineffective at teaching people how to build wealth, how to become financially independent, how to move from dependent to independent. They don't teach any of it, and they're never going to, unless things change dramatically. And maybe they will. I don't see that happening in the next 20, 30 years, though. In fact, it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. Sorry to be negative. Shouldn't have done that. But that's what's going on. If you're not in the financial position you want to be in, and you've already worked 20 years, what you're doing doesn't work. You've got to change what you're doing the next 20 years. You can't say, well, I worked for 20 years, it didn't work. I know, I'll do the same thing for the next 20 years and it'll work for sure. It's not going to. That's a form of insanity. Turns out that Albert Einstein didn't say this. It was said by Alcoholics Anonymous most famously. Many people have said this. One of the forms of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Please think about it. Are you doing that in your life? Are you getting up, getting in the car, going to work, coming home, getting up the next morning, getting in the car, going to work, coming home, over and over and over and over and over? If it didn't work the last 20 years, it isn't going to work the next 20 years either. You have to do something different. That's why people are joining clubs like ours, because we know what the wealthy do differently than the poor and the middle class. See, the poor and the middle class are stuck where they're at because our educational system, here I go, keeps them there. Keeps them there. And then people run around going, I'm going to go into the poor neighborhoods and get them into college. And they think they did something. They didn't do jack. Because they don't teach money in college. It's been burning. I almost did this show yesterday, and then I couldn't find enough information to do the show. Plus I pulled 3 ribs out. I'm fine, but they're back in place. But it was painful. But I couldn't do the show yesterday because I just couldn't get the data to make my argument. But I did by sitting, again, as I told you, 5 hours reading articles on 401s to come to the conclusion after 5 hours that I knew nothing of any value, nothing that was going to change my life after studying it for 5 hours. Crazy. All right, phone lines are open, 281-558-5738. That's 281-558-KSEV. Or you can email me. It's asksteve@getrealwealth.com. asksteve@getrealwealth.com. So I never finished the Robert Kiyosaki story. His poor dad who worked for the government and was always in a dependent stage of life, sent him to his friend's dad, who was an entrepreneur, who had made it to the independent stage of life, and said, that's who you've got to learn from. You have to go learn from somebody who understands money. You're not going to figure it out on your own. You're not going to figure it out by reading the internet and Googling it. It's going to take book after book, seminar after seminar, before it sinks in. Because you're actually, how do I put this? It takes me more effort to unlearn people's beliefs about life and about money than it does to teach them the beliefs that do work. Does that make sense? It's been so ingrained. They're 25, they're 35, they're 45, they're 55, they're 65. You can see they've been indoctrinated for 10, 20, 30 years. It takes me hours. Some people get it, but it generally takes me 9 hours of training to get people to let go of the old paradigm, the old belief system, and come over to our way of thinking, which is everybody needs a second stream of income. Doggone it, that should be taught to 5-year-olds. That's when I started teaching it to my kids. When they were 5, I started exposing them to The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason. The Richest Man in Babylon. Probably in my personal opinion, the most important beginner book, even more so than Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Rich Dad, Poor Dad would be the second book to read. That's Robert Kiyosaki. Incredible book. But I think everyone should read The Richest Man in Babylon first, then to bring it up to current or contemporary thought, read Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Once you read those 2 books, you're ruined. You will never look at your job the same again. All right, this is the Get Real Wealth. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Excuse me. This is the GetRealWealth.com radio show. You can call me at 281-558-5738. That's 281-558-KSEV. You're listening to AM 700, the voice of Texas. Thanks for listening. Do you dream of a better life for you and your family? Do you want more time with your family? Would you like to travel more? Would you like to be less dependent on a job for your income? The solution is simple. Build a second stream of income. We can show you how. We are offering a free 2-hour introductory workshop on how to use real estate to build a second stream of income for you and your family. To reserve a seat, visit GetRealWealth.com and click on the free workshop button at the top of the page. That's GetRealWealth.com. Thank you. Welcome back to the GetRealWealth.com radio show. Remember, you can always find us online, of course, at GetRealWealth.com. A couple of you responded that you want to learn these principles. You can take a sample course, a free sample course, by going to GetRealWealth.com. It's in the upper right-hand corner. It'll say free course. Check that out. It's about an hour, 15 minutes, but you can see our educational style. We'll go over the 8 reasons that we chose real estate above all other investment vehicles, and we'll go over 14 pillars of success and happiness. In other words, we're not just real estate investing. Our course covers fitness, relationships, nutrition, I'm even going to have people come in and talk about travel. I mean, every aspect of a balanced life, we're going to have classes. All of them will, of course, be available online for our members. The only one that's not is our one-day course. But if you want to check out the free sample course to see our style and learn what we're doing and find out about the coaching at Real Wealth Academy, go to getrealwealth.com. Upper right-hand corner, choose the free course button. Let's go to the phone lines now, which are open at 281-558-5738, and talk to William. I think he has a question about Robert Martinez, passive investor. William, thanks a lot for calling in. How are you today?
Yeah, fine, Steve. I listened to you yesterday or day before. I'm 75 years old in good health, and I own some commercial rent properties. But on this passive investment of income, I'm not looking at anything past 10 years. What's your thoughts, and how does that actually work? By the money you put in, by the percentages, and how are you paid back on the passive income?
Well, you get quarterly dividends on yield plays and some value plays, and then you get paid on the refinance, which is anywhere from 3 years all the way to as quick as 18 months. And that's where the big chunks of money come in, William. But we generally sell those properties 7 to 9 years, maybe 10. So I think it would fit for you, William, to get into a deal where they were getting out, they were going to sell within 10 years. Is that kind of what you were asking, William?
Do you know this, Steve, when you're going in? I mean, I'm not looking at being 85 or 90 if God blesses me living that long.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for a good return in the next, say, 7 to 9 years or so. Say if you invested
they do decide up front. They do
Uh-huh.
decide up front. Now, William, there could be a catastrophe that could cause you to be forced to hold it longer. But the nice thing, in other words, let's say you bought in 2005, and then 3 years later, 2008 hits. Well, you're not going to sell in a down market, even if it was your plan. But the good news is, William, the cash flow on those properties continues to come in, and it doesn't go down, it goes up. So you don't care. But there is a possibility, if there was a recession right before the 10-year anniversary, when you were about to sell it, then you might be forced to keep it a few more years.
I see. Okay. Do you think something like that would be a wise move at this age?
Yeah, we have a lot of people in your age group that are doing it. I will tell you this, though, William, the majority of them are legacy-based. They're really kind of doing it for their kids or their grandkids and things like that. Is that part of your plan, or do you not have kids or grandkids?
No, I have no kids, and I've done well. I just thought if that's a good return on some money, $300,000 or $400,000, would it be? I didn't know how the payouts were done. What if you have to get out? Are you literally, your estate's just in there until they are sold?
The other members can buy you out. You can sell it to another member of the group. There are that happens very rarely, but when it does, there are ways to get out by selling your interest to another member.
Great. Okay. Well, I certainly appreciate that. I'm going to look into that, Steve. I enjoy your show. Thank you
very much. Thank you for the phone call. Great phone call. All right, let's go to the Woodlands now on the phone lines, which are open at 281-558-5738, and talk to Doug. Doug, thanks a lot for calling in. How are you today?
I'm great, Steve. Congratulations on your new setup there.
Thank you.
I've had something that's new to me anyway just happened. I've got a rental property that's just ready to go on the market, and I've been approached by a realtor representing a gentleman who does Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to lease the property and then turn around and use it as an Airbnb. And I just didn't. My immediate thought was, what's the additional level of liability on my part, and anything that you're familiar.
He'd have to pay a premium, to do that, because he's talking about subletting the property, and the Airbnbs took a huge hit during COVID. Huge hit.
Right.
Most of them, I haven't read the numbers, but I thought it was 54% of them are now month to month or annual contracts versus Airbnb. So they lost a huge amount. Yeah, I'd be very leery of that, Doug. I'd rather have a 1-year lease with a tenant than have somebody subletting my property out.
Okay. I have a feeling you would probably say that, and
Yeah.
I think my inclination is the same.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate it, Doug.
All right. Thank you. Have a great one.
You too. Take care. Yeah, those Airbnbs do make money. I have a good friend, really good friend, Smoot, who has a bunch of them in the hill country near Austin. Don't know how he did during COVID, but he's such a successful guy. I'm sure he had reserves, so COVID probably didn't affect him at all. And they're still Airbnb. But he loves them, swears by them. So I don't want to put down Airbnbs. I think that you can make a lot of money with them. It's just a much more intense, it's running a hotel. Yeah, you make more money, but you do 3 times the work. And then people say, no, I don't. I have somebody else manage it. Then you're paying them a bunch of money, so you're really not making as much money as you thought. I think you just have to run the numbers and see which one makes you the most money and requires the least amount of effort. Because as I joke about, I'm the laziest guy on earth when it comes to property management. I like a 1-year lease. See ya in 1 year. Whereas Airbnb, if you're managing it yourself and they're doing, 4 weekends, 4 different families, 4 different weekends a month, that's a lot of work. And the money that I've seen them making doesn't impress me to do that type of work. Okay, phone lines are open a couple more minutes at 281-558-5738. That's 281-558-KSEV. Or you're welcome to email me at any time, 24/7. It's asksteve@getrealwealth.com. asksteve@getrealwealth.com. So to summarize everything that I ranted about, it's really, you have to understand that you and you alone are responsible for your financial education. The financial education is not, and in no time in the near future, going to be in high school or in college. You want to be wealthy, you want to be financially independent, you've got to learn it on your own. And then don't make the dumb mistake of, I'll learn it from the internet and YouTube videos and all these free guys who offer education on multifamily for free. Let me tell you something. You know why it's free? Because they don't have a team of mentors or consultants or coaches to help you. There's books out. If you just want the information, go to the library, get it for free. It's not about just the information. You need a coach. You need somebody who's done it beside you. Otherwise, it's going to take you 5 to 10 years to learn it like it did me, when you could have learned it in 8 hours by taking a 1-day class. So if not us, somebody, find somebody you like that has a course on money and start taking courses on money. You will be able to change your life as a result. Don't doubt yourself. People oftentimes think I'm different. I'm odd, but I am not smarter than you. I'm not better looking than you. I'm not better built than you. I do have a lot of love because I was raised in a very loving situation. But you can learn that too. Caring, loving. You can do it. There's my sales pitch. You can do it. Just get out there, have faith in yourself, get the right knowledge, and execute on it. All right, thanks for listening. Have a great rest of your day.
This has been the GetRealWealth.com radio show. Please remember that this show is for entertainment purposes only and should not be construed as legal, tax, or investing advice. Always get a professional opinion before making any investment decision. To find out about the mentoring and consulting at Real Wealth Academy, visit GetRealWealth.com and attend one of our free introductory workshops on real estate investing. That's GetRealWealth.com. Thanks for listening and have a great rest of your day.